time, Call of Duty makes weapons that look sleek and professional and really, really cool, but sometimes they miss the mark. Sometimes the weapons end up looking ugly. Welcome to the channel, everybody. Jimmy or Chaos. Today, we're going to go over the 20 ugliest weapons in COD history. This is a much requested topic from you guys, so today we're going to cover it. And I wanted to let you guys know your boy is going to be a published author in the coming months, and I would love for you guys to be involved with that journey. The link is at the top description if you want to go to my website and sign up for the newsletter so you know when I actually drop my first book. I'm not going to give you any details yet, but I will keep you guys updated as we go on, and this is a big thing for me. It's a huge hobby of mine to tell stories, and to actually be publishing my first book is pretty cool, and I want to share it with you guys. So get over there if you want to, get on the newsletter, get signed up, and I'll let you guys know as we get closer. Now, let's go over the top 20 ugliest weapons in COD history. Starting off with the ugliest of the ugliest, it has to be, at number 20, dead last, the Wawa. The WA 2000 in Black Ops. Now, the sniper rifle wasn't terrible, but it looked really dumb compared to most of the other guns in the game. And yes, I know, this gun was in Modern Warfare 2 because it was in Black Ops. Something about the way Treyarch modeled it, it just made it a lot uglier. It was just uglier than the Infinity Ward version. Big slab of wood, looks like somebody carved a handle into it, slapped a sniper scope on it. Now the scope, it was also about the length of the gun itself, which to me kind of looked goofy. I don't know. I know this is going to be a very subjective list, and I get that, so you may disagree. At number 19, the DCM-8 in Infinite Warfare. I wouldn't be shocked at all if most of you forgot this gun actually existed, but when I was going through the Call of Duty wiki, it stood out. It stood out because it looked really weird as a shotgun. Full auto energy shotgun, but it had two handles instead of the usual one that most guns have. And the back of it goes way further than the front, kind of like a bullpup, even though it's not actually a bullpup. So at least we can tell Infinity Ward had fun with creative liberties and inventing new weapons for the game, even if some of them were a little bit ugly. At number 18, the PP2000 in Modern Warfare 2 2009. First full auto pistol in COD history, also potentially the ugliest. It kind of looks like the MP7 if you shrunk it down a little bit. You tilted the handle by 20 degrees for some reason, I don't know. Also had a folding stock on the butt of the gun that looked kind of dinky and pointless in action. Now some people swore the PP2000 was underrated and that it was secretly the best machine pistol in classic Modern Warfare 2, and those people, maybe they had a point. It was good, but this isn't a list of good guns. This is a list of ugly weapons from COD history, and it absolutely qualifies. Even if you were in the PP fan club, you have to admit, this thing kind of looked dumb. At number 17, the Signal 50 in Modern Warfare 2 2022. Raise your hand if you remember the Lynx sniper rifle from COD Ghost and Advanced Warfare. Signal 50 from Modern Warfare 2 was meant to be the new version of the Lynx. For some reason, Infinity Ward decided to make it way uglier than its older brother. So, bullpup sniper, long thin barrel, just like the older versions, but unlike the classic Lynx, Signal 50 had this really big magazine on the butt of the gun that made it look unbalanced. It made it look lopsided, almost like you glued two different guns together. Now the Ghost and the AW versions of the sniper look kind of weird, but they didn't look ugly. There's just something about the Signal 50, to me, that fits the bill. I think it comes down to how big the butt of the gun is compared to how small the barrel is. It just looked really weird to me. At number 16. The Nambu Type 2 in COD World War II. Now, you're going to see a lot of guns from COD World War II on this list, mainly because there was a lot of experimental weapons being designed during the Second World War, and Sledgehammer, well, they did a really good job at uncovering them and throwing them into the game. But, as you would probably guess with experimental guns from the 40s, they didn't look very effective, or they weren't really efficiently designed. Case in point, the Nambu Type 2, which looked like somebody glued a gun barrel to a 2x4 and carved out a handle on the bottom of it, and then they remembered they needed to feed bullets into it somehow because it's a gun, so they shoved a long, skinny pistol magazine into the bottom. Quite honestly, I forget if this gun was good or bad, but it definitely didn't look good. At number 15, Bechowiec in COD World War II, I hope I said that right. Sledgehammer randomly added this gun to the game in July of 2019, and for some reason it really looks like something made in Photoshop. Tiny SMG, really looked like an M1911, but it had a longer barrel and magazine shoved into the middle of it. Now I remember it did fire pretty quickly compared to the rest of the guns in the game, but I doubt many of you actually used it because of how late it was added to the game. Now I would say maybe you could give it a try since COD World War II is out there now, but if you're on PC, I mean, you still haven't gotten the game back, so whatever. It is what it is. At number 14, The Longbow in Modern Warfare 3 2023. I might be in the minority here. I thought the gun was ugly. It just looks wrong. Classified as a sniper rifle, but when you look at it and stare at it, it kind of looks like an AK-47 with a really big scope on top that kind of looks super out of place to me. Now, I might be biased against the Longbow because it was a really, really crappy gun that nobody liked, but stats aside, I also thought it was ugly. At number 13, the Nikita AVT in Vanguard. I was never super into Vanguard's multiplayer, but I do remember when this gun was all over Warzone, so I have a very clear, distinct memory of what it looked like. The Nikita was a bullpup assault rifle, really thin frame and barrel, but a really big curved magazine on the back of it. And that mag, it would curve all the way to the handle of the gun, which is just weird. Now, I usually like bullpup designs, but with how drastically this thing's magazine curved, it looked really bizarre to me. And then once you started abusing the 10 attachment gunsmith, well, it kind of got uglier and uglier. At number 12. The Carve 2 in Black Ops Cold War, another bullpup weapon. It seems like bullpups either look really, really cool and awesome, or they look really stupid. Carve, I think it fits the stupid category. The body of the weapon is big, it's bulky, but the handle and the magazine are super thin and skinny, so it looks like the gun is super heavy, but it only fires dinky little SMG rounds. And I know that's not actually how the gun functioned, but that's what it looks like. That's how it looks. That's how it looks. It would function. That's what this video is about. Carve may have been a really strong gun, but it looks stupid. I think it belongs here. It's like it was designed to be the perfect opposite of aerodynamic. At number 11, the Wimmer SPZ in COD World War II. These names. Now, this is a monstrosity. Seems like it would be an SMG, but it's actually an AR somehow. Looks like two lead pipes that somebody taped together and decided to use as a gun. Now, I guess it's kind of cool that this is an assault rifle with such a compact design, but then again, I can't imagine this was more effective than just using a full-size, not ugly rifle. I mean, does anyone have any intel how this thing was in multiplayer? It was randomly added to the game a year and a half after release, and I'm not going to go reinstall COD World War II to go try it out. I never did try it out. I just looked at it and I judged it, and here it is. At number 10, the MX Guardian in Modern Warfare 2 2022. I might be a little bitter towards this thing because it seems like a lot of annoying shotgun spammers are using it in Modern Warfare 3, but the MX Guardian always looks stupid. Full auto shotgun, big, fat, heavy, not aerodynamic at all. It's just a big rectangle full of shotgun shells with this weird skinny handle in the middle and this dinky little barrel peeking out the end of it. Again, I might be biased against the gun because of how people use it in MW3, but it still looks weird. So if you're going to give people an annoying spam shotgun, you could at least try to make them look cool. Then again, no. If they're going to use a spam shotgun, make it ugly. At number 9, here we go. Get ready for the comments. The Fad in Modern Warfare 3 2011. This gun has seemingly developed a fan club over the years as people go back to Modern Warfare 3 and give it a try. And I have to mention every time I mention the gun because I have to back myself up. I remember back in the original days, everyone thought the Fad was trash, like me. But now it seems like people think much higher of it. I have a feeling a lot of you have never even used it. I think you're just bandwagoning. And regardless, it was ugly. And it hasn't gotten any better over time. It almost looked DIY. Had a bunch of sharp edges, metallic patches. It looked unfinished. It looked like somebody created it in their garage. It was unique, yes, but it didn't really look good compared to other rifles in the game, and it sucked. At number 8, the Tempus Razorback in Modern Warfare 2 2022, the bullpup rifle that looks just... the word that comes to mind is inconvenient. Literally everything about it looks perfectly fine and normal until you look at the magazine, which is about 3 times longer than it probably needs to be. Mag stretches way down further than the handle of the gun. I would imagine that it makes this thing's weight distribution really awkward if you were using it in real life. I could be wrong. I'm not a gun expert. Never fired this fictional gun in real life. But if you look at the Tempus, the word that comes to mind is wrong. I mean, the magazine's too long. At number 7, the MP44 in COD World War II. So I said a while back in the video about one of the COD World War II guns looked like a couple lead pipes taped together. Well, the EMP is basically that again, but it's worse somehow. I mean, look, it's literally just like a pipe with a couple shorter pipes that are glued to it. I mean, maybe some JB Weld on it. This gun was added to the game as part of the Halloween Scream event, so maybe Sledgehammer thought it would be a spooky addition to the game because of how ugly it was. At number 6, the PO6 in Black Ops 3. Very unique gun, developed a passionate following because of that weird 3-round burst firing mode, but looking at it, come on. I think it's one of the main reasons why a lot of people dismissed it when the game came out. It was blocky, rectangular, almost like a Roblox gun, which isn't what you would normally expect from a sleek, precise sniper rifle. The default scope was also really blocky. It was square instead of the usual circular design that sniper scopes have. Now, I loved watching people pop off with this thing. It was awesome, but it's definitely one of the ugliest guns in Black Ops 3. It looks, it looks like it was made out of Legos. At number 5. The F-2000 in Modern Warfare 2 2009. I think everybody will agree this gun sucks, right? Even if you're one of the weirdos who thought it was awesome, we're going to agree that it was at least ugly. Bullpup assault rifle, really fat for some reason, and the magazine went super far to the body of the gun, which to me looks super awkward. Now, people have been talking about the gun for 15 years now, myself included, trying to decide whether it was good or bad, but the one thing we can all agree on is the simple fact that nobody thought it looked good. At number 4. The G11 in Black Ops, the experimental gun that actually did exist in real life briefly, and Treyarch did their research to bring it into their game in 2010. I always thought it was a sleeper gun, had a ton of potential, but it didn't change the fact that it looked like an experimental gun. Big metal rectangle, green, couple tubes coming out of it, then you had to reload it. You would pull out one of those magical tubes, and you would shove a new one in it because real-world G11 used caseless ammo that was loaded into tubes instead of magazines. It was a fun gun, it just didn't look good. At number 3. The UGR in Black Ops Cold War. When I saw a picture of this thing, I thought it was a heavy sniper rifle or maybe a DMR, but nope. It is a submachine gun. The frame and barrel are super tiny and thin. The magazine is massive for some reason. Looks ridiculous. Treyarch quietly added the UGR to the game with an update mid-2022, and I don't really know why. Nobody seemed to like it. Nobody cared about it. Everybody forgot about it, but I do remember it, mainly because it was ugly. Once again, why is the magazine so big? At number 2, I don't even know how to say this, Bechowiec? I don't know if I said that right. COD World War II. I don't remember the gun in the game. Bet you don't either. Looks like something that would happen if you tried to open a Sten in your garage and you gave up halfway through. So the handle and the butt of the gun look like the Sten. Then once you get to the middle of the gun, it goes completely wrong. The magazine is on the bottom. The barrel looks like a car muffler. And when you look at the finished product, it's just a big, ugly mess, and yet I still don't think it's the ugliest gun in COD history. Heck, I don't think it's the ugliest gun in COD World War II. That segues us into number 1 today. The ugliest gun in COD history, in my opinion, is the M267 in COD World War II. I'm just going to put this SMG on the screen and let you look at it. Let it bake into your brain. The gun is what happens when you let a 4-year-old build a gun out of Legos, and then the game developer tries to make that Lego gun look like a real gun. I mean, why are the handle and magazine so close together? Why is the frame of the gun so much bigger than the rest of it? Why are the sides of the barrel so big? It's the definition of an eyesore, and if you ask me, it's the ugliest gun in COD history. Now, you may have different opinions. This is going to be a very opinionated video, but it's my video. I'm sticking with it, and yes, the F-2000 sucked, and yes, the Fad sucked as well. Hope you guys have a great day.